Hey everyone, Mr. MC here. This is a lap guide for the new lap time challenge taking place at Catalunya without the chicane, and we're doing this with any Group 3 car on the racing hard tires. So let's go on over to sport mode, as this is where the lap time challenge is located. Make sure you have completed menu book 9 to access this mode. And this is a 2-week event ending at the end of March 15, 2023. So we can use any Group 3 car, and this is with BOP on. Tuning is disabled, and we're only on the racing hard tires. Your goal is to get within 3% of the world record time, so that when the event ends, that's when your time will be counted and the prize will be distributed depending on how far away you were from the world record time. So let's go ahead and get started with the lap guide. I'm using the Porsche 911 RSR as it's a really good handling car, and it'll be handy when you're going through sectors 2 and 3. So go ahead and rev the heck out of this car on 5th gear. Do not use 6th gear. And your first braking point is this light that is on the left. So just before you reach it, brake as much as you can, turning in before the curb on the left ends. Go down to 2nd gear, and one thing I want to note is that for a lot of these turns, I don't use throttle input, and that's to let the car turn in a bit more, get the car pointing where I want to go, and then I get on the throttle. But anyways, back to the lap guide. When you're going through the second part of the chicane, do a little lift off of throttle, go up to 3rd gear, bring yourself towards the middle, and start to turn in when the curb on the right starts, and do a lot of throttle control. So lifting off our throttle, using a tiny bit of braking if you need to. Just stay on the right side of the track, and you're looking for this orange barrier that is on the other side of the track, because once you're pointing towards it, that's when you want to get on the throttle. Now bring yourself towards the left. You're braking before you reach this bridge that is just up ahead. So full braking power, turning in just before the curb on the left ends. Go down to 2nd gear and stay towards the right side of the track. When you're pointing towards these black signs, that's where you want to gradually get on the throttle, but stay on the right side of the track. This is because you want to get ready to brake for the next turn, braking just before you reach this thing that is on the right. If you're curious about where I start to turn in before the wall on the left ends. You're going to go down to 1st gear, get the car rotated around this hairpin, but exit on 2nd gear and gradually get on the throttle. Take advantage of the red and white curves as they are still within track limits. Brake just before the curb on the right starts, so full braking power for a short moment. Turn in just as the gravel on the left is about to end. Go down to 2nd gear, taking advantage of the red and white curves. Gradually get on the throttle, bring yourself towards the left, and when the curb on the left ends, this is where you want to turn in, lift off our throttle, and use a tiny bit of braking if necessary, so you can bring yourself a bit closer towards the curves that are on the right. Just carefully get on the throttle, that way you don't go way too wide and touch the gravel. Bring yourself towards the right and brake just as this wall on the right ends. This is right when the new sector starts, so sector 3, braking as much as you can, turning in when you reach the 50-meter board. You're going down to 1st gear to have the car rotate a bit more, easing off of the brake, so a little bit of trail braking, letting the car do the work of going through this hairpin, not trying to force it through. And just as you complete this left turn, this is where you want to use almost all of your braking power. That way you can try to bring yourself towards the curves that are on the right. Going down to 1st gear for a bit more rotation, but gradually make your way into 2nd gear. And you can use this curb that is on the right as your cue to start to apply more and more throttle. Bring yourself towards the left. Just before the curb on the left ends, this is where you want to turn in. Lift off our throttle, using a tiny bit of braking if you need to, so you don't enter this turn way too hot. Then just before the yellow curb on the left ends, this is where you use just a little bit of your braking power, so we're talking around 25%. Going on to 3rd gear for a bit more rotation, and gradually get on the throttle, taking advantage of the red and white curbs as they're still within track limits. So now let's go through all this again, but without stopping the video. Alright, so here we are getting ready to start the new lap. Stay on 5th gear, do not use 6th gear as that really bogs the car down. So rev the heck out of 5th gear, bring yourself towards the left, looking for the black light that is on the left as that's your first braking point, and just letting the car coast through some of these turns so the car can turn in a bit more, and that way you can position yourself for a better exit. A little bit of throttle control as you go through turn 3, and then get on the throttle as soon as you point towards the orange barrier that is on the other side of the track. Brake before you go under the bridge, but you want to stay towards the right side of the track as you go through turn number 4. And again, stay on the right, brake before the wall on the left ends for turn 5. Going down to 1st gear for more rotation, but exit on 2nd gear and carefully get on the throttle. Turn 7, you want to brake before the curb on the right starts. Use the red and white curves to help position your car. Bring yourself towards the left. When the curb on the left ends, that's where you want to turn in. Lift off our throttle and use a tiny bit of braking if needed. Bring yourself towards the right. You're braking when the wall on the right ends, and this is just as a new sector starts. Going on to 1st gear for a bit more rotation, and just as this left turn ends, this is where you want to start to brake and bring yourself towards the right side of the track for turn number 12, using the curbs to help you rotate a bit more. And the final 2 turns are all about trying to maintain your momentum, so a little bit of throttle control, a little bit of braking if needed. And for the final turn, go down to 3rd gear for a bit more rotation and get on the throttle as soon as you can. So there we go, a 140.196. We'll see how this time compares to everyone else as the time goes on, and hopefully this lap guide helped you out. And if you like this video, you can press the like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Thank you guys for the awesome support lately. This is Mr. CA, and I'll see you in the next video.